Good afternoon, good evening. I wanted to go through Google Analytics 2 with you, ladies and gentlemen. You want to be sure that you run through and sign in first. I hope that you appreciate doing these questions over and over. I know they can be tedious, I know they can be laborious, but I want to be sure that you're confident and comfortable here. Just like having you run correlations constantly, factor analyses constantly, regressions constantly, t-tests constantly. The goal here is for you to be comfortable. I don't like students just doing one thing once. I don't think it really does much for you. I think it's way better that we have practice and that we keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it so that you get comfortable and that you really are able to pull from these experiences. So I just want to go through briefly how to execute the class activity here. I want to be sure that everybody's comfortable. So first, I want you to click on active users here. We'll click on active users. Let me just get out of this momentarily. So these are active users. Now remember, these categories illustrate how many people have visited in the period. So in 28 days, 40,340 people visited. In 14 days, it was 17,000 people. 7 days, 8,000. 1 day, 1,439. Okay. So that's the way to understand this. This is looking at comparing the one-day active users rate of shopping this past week compared against the same period last year. We're going to go to the same period last year. So we click, and there we have it. And we can see that there are demonstrable drops. Obviously, with COVID-19, everything's kind of come to a halt here. For the third question here, clicking on, let's see, we have audience, mobile is down here, and then I think we're clicking on, we're clicking on overview here. Pardon me, it's a little bit wonky to do this on a Mac. Okay, we have mobile here, and we're going to go to overview. Let's get out of this momentarily. Click on audience, then mobile, then overview. What are the top performing platforms here? Compare this week with the same period last year. Okay, so first things first, let's see what we have down here. We have our desktop, our mobile, and tablet. We can see here we have a bunch of KPIs. And remember, acquisition is acquiring those customers, right? We have users, the amount of people that have initiated one session, and then we have new users, number of first-time users during the select data range. Now, the way that they calculate this, in part, deals with cookies, right? People accepting cookies, are you okay with us tracking you? That will allow the websites to assume that it's only you that has that laptop. And so if that laptop's IP address or arrives on the same website again, then it can be said that, oh, it must be the same person. Sessions here, total number of sessions within the date range. A session is the period time a user is actively engaged with your website. And then we come over here to behavior. Remember, bounce rate, we want a low bounce rate. We don't want people bouncing, literally leaving us. So we have a really interesting story here, and I want you to start telling stories as you're going through this. So we can see here mobile is significantly better than the tablet when it comes to bounce rate. People on mobile are sticking around about 10% more. Okay, it also makes sense that they have a higher page per session because they're clicking. But they don't really spend as much time as the desktop people. That's interesting. This is about a minute difference. So there might be something that you can do here regarding engagement, because even though people are spending more time, and we're not getting the sales. We're getting the sales from mobile. So a few things to consider here. Additionally, this question also calls for comparisons. Compare this week with the same period last year. Can do. So if we come here, we'll go to compare to. We're going to go to year, same period last year. Let's click apply. We know that we're going to have some declines, and sure enough, we do. And so we're going to see with 2020 to 2019, we can see the said declines. And so you can see here for these particular periods, we can see the actual breakdown here, the actual comparisons here. And so you can discuss those comparisons here as we move along. For question 4, click acquisition, then all traffic, and then channels. So we're going to go to overview. We're going to go to audience, and then all traffic. Audiences. Audience. Acquisition, all traffic, and then channels. So here you can see which channel is best positioned for consumers. So we can see here, we can actually click out of this. We just get rid of this momentarily. We can scroll down here, and remember, these are default channel groupings. So social is social media, right? If you click on this, it will tell you where people are coming from on YouTube, on Facebook. All of these social media feeds that lead people from YouTube to the Google Store, from Facebook to the Google Store, from Reddit to the Google Store, from Twitter to the Google Store. We can clearly see YouTube is working quite well here. Let's get back here. And so remember that you can always do those drill downs if necessary. Paid search, paid advertisement for the Google site. We also have organic searches. So organic searches might be, I'm looking for the Google Store. I'm literally searching for the Google Store. And so you can click on each one of these to get a better sense of what's going on here. Which channels appear to be best positioned to acquire consumers? So you can see here that there are particular channels that are acquired here. So I see the 160 up here, and then I see the organic search. Here, we can go from acquisition to behavior to conversion. Remember, conversion is the sale itself. And you can figure out which channels here are best for either. Click on audience, and then overview. And I'm going to ask you to run a comparison between bounce rate and users. We're going to have to click select a metric. So we're going to be clicking on bounce rate and users here. And we can see that it was about the same, but lately it's been getting worse. We're having a lot of people bouncing, as it were. And what we can also do here is we can also look at where is their growth across these key performance indicators. And so you can see these key performance indicators right here: users, new users, sessions, number of users. And so what you can do is, to get a better sense of if there's any growth, we can click on previous period, click apply here, and there really hasn't been any growth. There does seem to be slightly more number of sessions per user. People are hanging on just a little bit more. It's almost negligible. It might be different when you're looking at this. I don't know. And you can see the breakdown by language here as well. And if you click on one of these, it'll bring you to the particular language and country itself. And so you can see here that it's important to get a sense of users and bounce rates, right? We want to see who's leaving, how many number of sessions per user. We want to get a sense of what is going on. I also want to point out that there's a number of things that you can click on here that we haven't really covered yet, but with geography, there's also location, there's language, there's interests, overview of affinity, what people like, what people don't like. Let me click out of this so this reads a little bit better. But we can see what people are interested in. And so these are just different tabs that you can click on that really are chock full of really, really good information. Finally, how do comparison queries help us in gaining information about our customers? Why is online segmentation of audiences critical here? And so we can see here we have segmentations here. And we have segmentations across geography and behavior and technology and mobile and cross-device and custom as well.